where your game plan didn't pan out and where you were left kind of having to come up with off the cuff stuff because they were so at it defensively and because they were shutting you down, really, that made a big difference to me. It was the game plan was executed better, I felt.
Yeah, the ending set's better. Yeah. Simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put you under the pressure. So, but no, it was a really enjoyable. But that's not to say there weren't some good things from Wigan. And I was nominally cheering Wigan on, by the way, at this point. It wasn't like I was in there kind of secretly rooting for Hull. It's just the infuriating stuff that we've already talked about that kind of cost you it. Not the refereeing decisions, but the knock-ons and the lack of involvement attacking-wise from Sam Tompkins, and whether or not it was down to him not getting involved enough or not having the opportunity to get involved because you were on the back foot more often than not, I don't know. But that had an impact because he's a game-breaking player. George Williams, you can't fault the kid's attitude. He doesn't go. I don't think he goes missing, but he didn't flourish in the game. I think he was quieter. And him and Lulu, certainly with the lesser of the team.
The forwards never set a platform for them. Where Hull forwards did set a platform, even though Wigan were making more metres per carry, it's because they were making the metres in space from kick returns or from running wider, whereas Hull were making their metres in a tougher position.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was a thoroughly enjoyable day out all over.
Right.
Met some lovely people, saw a good game of rugby, had a few beers. I was pretty happy.
So let's talk about the crowd then, because Russell Shepherd got in touch and he wanted to talk about it. He asked David Lawrenson. So Russell said, "Hope you will be debating the size of the crowd. I've been to 5 years on the trot now and it seems to be getting worse. I have also noticed the ticket price going up every year to such an extent that I'm calling it a day. To get decent tickets at an affordable price, we are having to buy them before the quarterfinals, and it's still £120 for me, the wife and child. This is too much to spend as a neutral. The empty stadium shows I'm not alone in this. The RFL needs to slash ticket prices as an experiment. If this doesn't work, then move it to another London stadium that will sell out."
Well,
and David Lawrenson says, just need to get this off my chest. 68k is not a bad crowd, but if you don't tell anyone it's on, then you can't be surprised that the occasional fan doesn't turn up.
There you go. It does. There's two key points there for me. I don't think it's marketed particularly well anymore in terms of dragging people down. It's not pushed enough by the RFL for me. And I think you could certainly have. I think that's a fair comment to level at them. I don't think 68,000 is a bad crowd in today's climate and the position that rugby league holds in the cultural zeitgeist. I do not like the idea, though, however, of moving it away from Wembley to another London stadium.
The line I heard was that whilst the official attendance was lower than last year, in fact the lowest since the non-Wembley years, the actual amount of people in the stadium was higher than last year because Club Wembley seats were this year sold rather than treated as being sold.
Okay, I'm with you.
So actually more people are in the ground.
Right. Which would suggest it's been marketed better if it brings people. Well, it's two big, well-supported clubs turning up as well.
Well, yeah, but Wigan didn't turn up in massive numbers at all, and Hull weren't in the same numbers they've been in before either, I personally feel. But yeah, we've been there for Wigan finals where there's been a lot more of us in that end.
That's true.
Than that.
Yeah, Wigan fans, for whatever reason, didn't make the journey.
No. Because they're not enjoying the way the team's playing because they're either having to pull off perfect plays, which they're not pulling off enough with when we do our shifts and our moves, or they're watching people run into blind alleys, get tackled, and then pull out last tackle options, which is what we saw a lot of in this game again.
Yeah. And if you've been treated to shit product all season, then probably you aren't motivated to travel all the way to London, but it's a fucking cup final and you're Wigan. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, completely. I agree with you. So in terms of the pricing, this slashing ticket prices is an experiment thing. My tickets that I bought were £35, and they were originally on the halfway line-ish in the top. Well, maybe 2 blocks off the halfway line in the top tier on the side where the television cameras were, the side that was empty. When these Club Wembley tickets went on sale, they moved everyone who had bought tickets already in that tier down into Club Wembley seats.
Right.
Complimentary. To fill up that row.
How was it? Was it good?
It was just a more comfortable seat and a little bit more variety of choices to get stuff like there was a real ale stall and stuff like that. But, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't particularly...
Wouldn't rush back if it wasn't being given free.
Yeah, I wouldn't be paying for it.
No.
Particularly. I think the tickets at the bottom of the stadium are too expensive, yet that still was the most full part, weirdly. And
that's what people think the atmosphere's going to be.
I think people need to support it. People need to just go. But the problem with that is the pricing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we all need to buy when it's an early bird deal. If everyone buys when there's an early bird ticket offering, which there often is, sort of in the pre-Christmas period, there's often offers. And also in the post-Cup final period, there's often offers for next year's Cup final when the tickets go on sale, once they've figured out when they're actually going to have it. I think if everyone buys tickets at that stage, or if you buy them from your clubs, if you support a lower league club or are involved with a community club, you get them at a discounted rate anyway. Some of the clubs, like the All Golds, give a free season ticket, give it free to season ticket holders as part of the season ticket package.
Really?
Because they have so few of them. But
That's a good move, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's lots of ways to fill that, for people to fill that stadium up for less than what they're spending. It's just you have to be committed to be going to the cup final, regardless of who is in the cup final.
Yeah.
And I think if we all took that sort of position, it might then start to become more of an event again. I think one of the other things that the RFL can do is make it more of a celebration. They do make it a celebration in terms of they have all the school stuff the day before and all of that, but incorporate that a little bit more. Get that sort of stuff out there more. You know, where is that? When is that? How can you get to that? With your tickets, here's a map of how you get to that as well if you're going down the day before. Incorporate the thing that the scholars do much more deliberately into the whole marketing of the scheme. A Wigan fan that I know would like, moan isn't the right word, but sort of like
a gripe.
Yeah, that they had known about the scholars game, but then by the time they said they'd forgotten, and then Wigan put a thing up on the website a couple of days before Wembley, so one day before the scholars game, reminding people almost that that's happening. You can go down to this, and she was like, "Well, I've forgotten about it now. I've gone and booked tickets to go and see a show. I would have gone if I'd have remembered." And okay, part of it's on her for forgetting, but part of it is also on the whole community, not making
ourselves better,
putting these things out there. But yeah, so I think that's how we address the crowd, is package things up a little bit more and target people very specifically with the early bird tickets, in terms of even to the level of spam, to be honest. Because if we moan that they don't market us, we can't fucking moan if we get too many letters through our door telling us there's games on, where to buy the tickets, when to buy the tickets. Because if you do both, then you're just an idiot. So do you know what I mean?
No, I couldn't agree more.
So we need to. So that's the way to address this, I think. And us as fans, as a community, need to support. And I thought this was an enjoyable final for people to watch. I thought there was some great performances. There was some good bits of skill. There was some bad things going on in the game as well. There was a bit of niggle at times. There was a bit of feist. There was. I think it had
a slice of everything for you, didn't it? Yeah, definitely.
And I can't believe that someone thinks it's the worst final they've seen. If I'm honest. Was that Alfie who said that?
I think so, yeah.
I find that baffling. I think this was a much more enjoyable game to watch than last year's final, even though that had the tension and the excitement thing.
And it was
only the last 20 minutes of last year's final was at all was watchable, I think.
It was far better than the year before, where it was a fucking cakewalk for Leeds Rhinos as well.
Better than the 13 final, when it pissed it down and no one could keep hold of the ball after the first 20 minutes.
Wasn't it? Yeah, exactly. Okay, predictions then, both none out of one. For us, since I was tactical-ish, although I did feel like Wigan might have won it. So it leaves us, where are we now in terms of predictions?
118 for you, 125. Sorry, 125 for you, 118 for me. I'm 7 behind.
Still got it.
Long way back.
All to do, though. You could do that in a week. You could be one ahead in a week.
I could.
Get pissed.
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's the Challenge Cup taken care of. Let's take a look now at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. So to some other results from the world of rugby league then. Championship Shield round 4 action today to tell you about, Mark. Bradford Bulls defeated at home 18 points to 44 by the Batley Bulldogs. Dewsbury beaten at home 28 points to 35 by the Swinton Lions. Rochdale were beaten at home 24-30 by the Oldham Ruffians. And this one, half the press, it was Toulouse 32, Sheffield 16.
Some The Bradford game doesn't matter, does it?
No.
And neither really does the Toulouse game, although Ford and Robin being back together in the half helps them, so going to look comfortable for a Shield sort of situation for them. Those other two games, very exciting. I followed them both on Twitter. Rochdale nearly staged a late comeback, but Oldham were good enough to just stay a couple of scores ahead, really, throughout. Swinton had enjoyed the lead for most of the game, then going into the last 20 minutes, Dewsbury started to score some points, and it got back at one stage to 29-28.
Right.
So crucial drop goal scored by White in the 73rd-ish minute. I don't know, sometime in the last 10 minutes, and then the Swinton then got a try. Ben Austin scored right at the end, so just to seal it, was the hooter went sort of thing. But
there you go.
Very exciting and huge, because it's got very tight now for the final relegation spot, with the next fortnight potentially being telling in the race to avoid the drop. Rochdale in 5th of the Championship Shield 8. They've got 15 points. Swinton in 6th have got 14 points, but they've also got a considerably better for and against compared to the other two sides. I think they're about 100 better. Oldham currently occupy 7th place and the drop spot, but they're also on 14 points. So next week it's Swinton Rochdale, then it's Swinton Oldham, or Oldham Swinton. A lot could change, couldn't it?
There you go. So League 1 Shield Round 2 fixture to tell you about. London Scholars on Friday evening beat the South Wales Ironman by 32 points to 4.
Yeah, Dr. Hideous got in touch. He said, even when it was only 4-0 on 30 minutes, I thought this was the best half of rugby I've seen this year. No one was afraid to chuck the ball around or to run, combined with good defence from both teams, and the ref let the game flow. Two late lucky tries made it 16-0 at the break. The second half was scrappier, with more errors on both sides, but Scholars were dominant throughout. Final score 32-4.
There you go. Okay, and that's the win that puts Scholars top of the League 1 Shield table as well, Mark. Round 25 of the NRL then, regular season play down under. It was the Broncos 34, the Eels 52, massive scores there. The Canberra Raiders were 46 points to 28 winners over the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, Hodgson had a try assist, Whitehead played as well, Wardle played for the Knights in another high scorer.
There you go. It was West Tigers 14, North Queensland Cowboys 22. Then the Gold Coast Titans were defeated 14 points to 26 by the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
Yeah, Joe Greenwood played for the Titans. James Graham put in 143 metres for the Bulldogs.
Massive win for the Melbourne Storm, who says there aren't blowouts in the NRL. 64 points to 6 over the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Yeah, Tom, Sam and George all played, but obviously did sod all. Given that
did far from enough. My Sharkies beaten at home 14 points to 16 by the Sydney Roosters. New Zealand Warriors narrowly losing out at home to the Sea Eagles by 21 points to 22. And in the final game of the weekend, Penrith Panthers were beaten at home 14 points to 16 by the St George Illawarra Dragons.
Yeah, Widdop played in that and obviously kicked the crucial goals there. And that's a big kind of game in the shake-up. I suppose the big news, though, is the Raiders are out of the running for the finals now after wins to the Cowboys and the Sea Eagles. That last late drop, Daly Cherry Evans winner for the Sea Eagles, put pay to any hopes for our Raiders UK players. Sorry, I'm flagging now. Roosters are set for the top 4. Broncos and Eels only need a win next week to get the double chance finals spot. So if they win in their last game, they finish in the top 4. The Sharks, though, could catch them still. The Dragons need a win and need one of the Panthers, Cowboys, or the Sea Eagles to lose in round 26. So it's all very exciting with one round to go to decide who gets in the finals.
There you go. Okay, well, that's the world of Rugby League well and truly covered. Let's take a look into the future now as we bring you our predictions for round 4 of the Super 8s. Okay, so Super League returns this week, Mark, and with the exception of Hull and your Wigan Warriors, everyone's had a couple of weeks off to fix up and get themselves sharpened up for the final push to the semi-finals. And we start on Thursday evening down in West Yorkshire, where Leeds will take on the victorious Hull FC. Got to be a hangover. Got to be a win for the Rhinos, surely.
I see it going that way. I've gone 30 points to 14 in favour of the Rhinos in front of no South stand.
Yeah.
That'll be weird. But
Quiet.
Well, the band noise will just dissipate out, won't it, from the open end. I do think, like what you say, there's going to be a little bit of a hangover from Hull FC. The unfortunate in this one being scheduled so quick in the week after. I think it's going to be tough. They might change up a few players, but I think they've got